Hey everybody, I know I posted yesterday and I try not to post too often, and I'll try to keep this brief, but I read something today and God totally spoke to me today and I gotta share it with you because it's super relevant right now. I'm reading in Mark chapter 15 about the crucifixion, and it's heavy stuff, but this one moment really spoke to me and stood out to me more than it has before. While Jesus is on the cross, starting in verse 31, the religious leaders and people there, the soldiers, all the people, are literally making fun of Jesus. Like literally mocking him, making fun of Jesus, insulting him while he's on the cross. And I mean, they're telling him that he's a coward. They're mocking his claim to be the king. Um, and they're literally saying, come down off the cross. Like, if you're so powerful, if you're so awesome, if you are who you say you are, come down on off the cross. And they're spitting on him and mocking him and making fun of him while he's suffering and being tortured. And that alone is nuts. But as I was reading it, I realized that these are Jesus's enemies, and he had the power to get off the cross, but even more, he had the power to stay there for them. Jesus could have come off the cross if he wanted, but what kept Jesus on the cross is for his love for us, for people, and even for those people that were making fun of him right then and there and mocking him. He loved those people. And so he stayed on the cross even in the midst of them making fun of him while he died. That's crazy. And it reminded me, in my study Bible, it reminded me that Jesus loved his enemies. And he called people to love not just other good people, not just people you like, not just your friends and family, not just people you agree with, but to love your enemies. Just a few chapters before, he tells his disciples and the other people listening to love your enemies. That alone is backwards. And then he puts it into practice in the most craziest way ever. While people are making fun of him as he died, he loved them in an extravagant way. How are we loving our enemies? How are we loving people right now? It's not good enough to just say, oh, everything's okay, and we'll get through this together, and everybody love everybody and all that stuff. But how are we doing it? What are we doing other than just posting on social media to try to prove it? How are we loving our enemies? Jesus tells us to, and then gives us such a crazy example of staying on the cross while people made fun of him while he died, to love them and provide a way for them to have eternal life and a relationship with God. That's insane. He not only says love our enemies, he proves it in this crazy way. How are we loving our enemies? How are we loving people that disagree with us? How are we loving people that make fun of us? How are we loving people that think we're stupid for believing the Bible and stupid for thinking God is real and that, we should live this way? How are we loving our enemies? I got to do better at that. I got to do better at loving my enemies the way Jesus did. I hope that encourages you today. Thanks.